Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily if it is your first time here, and in today's video we are going to be doing the next episode of my single series where I am deep diving into my collection of single shadows, and I'm going to be doing a look with each single shadow that I have in my collection. Today's single shadow is this Natasha Denona single shadow. I don't know what it is. It's super gorgeous. Right here, kind of goldy champagne-y. I don't even remember where I got this. It was, I think, maybe in a Sephora favorites set it came with this. I don't really know, but it's really gorgeous. And this is actually my first time using it in the look that I did today. Today's look was a wild ride. Did a lot of stuff. My eyes aren't really having it right now, but that's all right. It was really fun to play around with the shadow, come up with a look based around this shadow. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I'm going to start by priming my eyes with the Alamar Cosmetics Primero primer. I have been loving this primer. It keeps my eyeshadow on all day. It's super easy to blend my shadows out on top of it, even though it is like one of the stickiest eyeshadow primers I've ever used. Alright, so the setup might have just changed slightly. I needed the mirror that my camera was sitting on top of. So we put on that primer, and now I'm going to go in with the shade right here. This is my little singles palette. This is the shade Pinkity Drinkity from the Morphe and James Charles Artistry palette, and this is a shade in my current project pan. So I'm gonna go in with this and like use it as a little transition shade. You really can't see it, honestly. I just kind of have been putting it down so that the crease is really smooth and everything blends out on it really nicely. And like I basically just take this up to my brow bone like that. I feel like my face right now is a lot redder than usual. We got our Peloton delivered this morning, and so I did a ride, you know, and it was like my first ride, first time in a long time working out, so I'm just like dead. I actually like have a fan like directly at me right now, and that brings me to something I forgot that I was going to do on camera. I didn't put my sunscreen on. So the SPF I'm currently trying to use up is the Neutrogena Clear Face Breakout Free Liquid Lotion Sunscreen, SPF 30. And I'm trying to use this up because Neutrogena is not cruelty free, and I'm not going to repurchase it once I use it up. I'm kind of still on the hunt for my perfect SPF. I really like this one. I love sunscreens that smell like sunscreens. Like, I know that is so weird, but it just makes me happy. It's like makes me think of summer. The thing about this one is that like I have light skin, we can tell, and this leaves a light cast on me, and it also doesn't add any sort of glow, and I like putting on like base products that add a little bit of a glow. Even my SPF, it like is mattifying because it's supposed to be like breakout free, you know, but it just like right when I put it on it looks really nice, but after a few minutes this will completely set down and I will have no sort of glow left. So we put that shade down in the crease, and now I'm going to switch over to my Nabla Coral Cutie palette. This is one of the newest palettes in my collection, and with the same brush, this is the ColourPop E2 brush. I'm picking up the shade Feelings from this palette. It's a really light coral matte, and I'm going to start blending this through the crease, and obviously not taking it as high up as Pinkity Drinkity. I literally took Pinkity Drinkity up to my eyebrow, so God, I hope I'm not taking this one up as high. I feel like the shade shows up a little bit more pink on the eye than it looks in the pan, which it's still a really gorgeous color and I think it's really pretty, but it just looks a little bit more orange in the pan than it does on the eye. Next, I'm taking my ColourPop E16 brush, which is another fluffy brush, but it's almost sort of flattened, and I'm picking up the shade Anyway, which is a dark brown, and I'm going to start applying this to the outer corner of my eye. Just kind of patting it in and lightly blending it out. I feel like with this palette, there's no like variety in how you can apply the crease shades, like the matte shades, which it is a smaller palette, so I feel like that's kind of the point. And I'm not saying I dislike it because it makes like, it's a very thoughtless palette, I guess. And by that I mean like you don't have to put a lot of thought into what type of look you're coming up with. This could be a really good everyday palette. I'm just saying it's something I wanted to point out about the palette, you know. Going back in with the matte coral to blend that a little more. And this eye always looks so messed up. Like that looks awful compared to that. Alright, I think that once I add my shimmers and stuff, this will look okay. This is what I wanted it to look like, and this is what it ended up looking like. Next, I'm going to be taking my NYX glitter primer. I've been, in the past couple months, applying this under every shimmer, no matter what it is. Just a little bit with my fingy. And then I'm gonna apply the shimmer with the ColourPop E18 brush, just so I can get nice and up close in this inner corner here. I've just been really loving the combo of the Alamar eyelid primer and then the NYX glitter glue for my shimmers, because it makes my eyeshadow so budge proof, and I have like pretty extreme oily eyelids, so this is like a game changer for me. I have never in my life up until now found an eye primer or any sort of product to use as an eye primer that really and truly holds my eyeshadow in place all day, and this one does, so it's like a great find. This shade, I went in with that Natasha Denona shade, by the way. What I'm going to do next is blend out that shimmer. So I'm gonna go first back in with the shade Feelings. I don't know what it is about this eye right here. It never looks right. It never looks how I want it to. It never blends right. Like, there's, it's rough. And I don't know what it is. I kind of think it has something to do with the angle that I hold my brush at. Just because, like, the blend on this eye is so much more effortless always. And it's so much easier to, like, move my hand in that circular motion over on this eye. Like, look at that. It's just blending flawlessly, and so I just like genuinely don't know. So then I'm going to go in with this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow, another product for my project pan, and just kind of tap it right over top of that Natasha Denona shade. I just want to add like a little bit more sparkle, and this shade Set to Stun is like this gorgeous like pinky purpley loose dispersed glitter. And what I'm actually going to do with this is I'm going to pat it over like the mattes here in this outer corner, just to maybe help it look a little bit better and more blended and diffused. It'll just be like a dispersed glitter look. I'll just do it on both sides. That's my trick. When my blend doesn't look good, take some glitter and just go to town. So that's it for the eyeshadow. Like always, I'm gonna leave the eyes here and we will come back. So I'm going to first go in with the like face primer that I'm using. As you can see now, my skin, this SPF is completely set down. My face feels matte. So the thing that I'm using for my face primer today is the JLo Beauty That Blockbuster Wonder Cream. And I know that like JLo Beauty is kind of more of a controversial brand, just because like JLo is like my skin looks like this because of my products. And it's like, no, it looks like that because you're rich and you can get work done and facials and stuff, which is like fine. I just like wish she'd admit to it, you know? And don't come for me, J-Lo stans. Like, it's just true. It's not because I hate J-Lo, because I don't. And then I'm going to go in with my Auric Beauty Colorless. I've basically been using this every single day, which, did we expect anything less? Probably not. But this is the brush that I use for my cream bronzers, and I just take like that much on the brush and pat it where I want some, that much like per cheek, and I just like add some glow, and I kind of like blend it under my under eye and down my cheek, and I take what's left on the brush up on the forehead, and then whatever's left on the brush I'll just take in the spots that I usually highlight as well. It's like nose, cupid's bow, chin, all that. And there we go. I'm thinking this is gonna end up being a look for lashes because I just cannot stand this eye. The foundation that I'm using today is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. Longest name in the world. This is a very light foundation. Not in color, in coverage and stuff. But I like it. It's actually a little bit dark for me. Like a little bronzy golden for me. But I've been feeling the spring summer vibes recently, so I don't mind. And then when I apply my foundation in the areas like on my cheeks mainly that I put the colorless, I almost try to avoid it. Not like completely avoid it, like don't put any foundation there, but I don't like put a heavy thick layer over it, if that makes sense. Because I really want that shine, that glow to peek through. And overall, I just feel like it looks so glowy and nice, and I love it. So, next we're going to correct my under eyes. Becca Brightening Under Eye Corrector. I need to wash this brush that I use with it. Like, you know when you use the same brush for like a specific cream product or just only cream products in general, and eventually it ends up like almost like the the bristles, I could not think of that word, the bristles like end up like taking together. Yeah, that's about where this brush is right now. One random little thing that I have been doing when I apply my under eye corrector is, see right in here where it can look a little heavy and on this side it doesn't? That's because I did this. I just take the brush and I just like kind of swirl it in here, and it just like picks up that excess product, blends out nicer, and usually it ends up on the brush, but I just wipe it off and it just looks a lot more nicer. For concealer, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, the one that the cap has been missing for months. Whoa. And then Rare Beauty Concealer Brush, the best concealer brush that has ever existed probably. It is so soft, mimics the shape of your finger, gets right in there, blends it out so effortlessly. Look at that. My inner corner already blended. And I'm going to set my under eyes with my Ben Nye Neutral Set Colorless Powder. It's really similar to the Alamar Cosmetics brush that I used to set my under eyes for a very long time. The brightening brush, but it's just a bit smaller. So this is the Alamar, this is the Farah. It's a bit thinner, a bit smaller. So I just find it fits the under eye a little bit better. I go in with a few layers of powder. I really like my under eyes to be nice and set, just so that my mascara doesn't smudge. So I'll go in with like preliminary layer, which is what this is right now. And then I'll take even more and do a little double set action. It's like, seriously, I don't put this much powder on so that my under eyes don't crease. My face has creases in it. It's probably gonna crease, okay? Faces have creases, you know? when you smile, if you're a happy person, if you're expressive, it happens. One thing about like doing under eyes that I hate is that there's like a perfect line where my acne stops on like literally both sides, and it looks ridiculous. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more concealer and just do some spot concealing where I want to, mainly just on my cheeks, just to kind of help, again, that line where my acne stops look a little bit more smooth into like my concealer and powder. And I won't even like set this either, but back in with the Rare Beauty brush, and I just do this super lightly so I can really keep the coverage, you know? I'm going to set some specific areas of my face with a pressed powder that is broken, so it's like a weird hybrid of pressed and a loose powder, but it's the AOA Studio Perfect Finishing Pressed Powder, and I'm just going to take it on the alamar brush and go in between the brows and up onto the forehead just a little bit. Right here, corner of the nose, but I don't like bring it up onto my nose. These are just places, like the upper lip, I just take like the residual just very lightly. These are just places that tend to break up first. The chin crease. And that's really all I set. I like to keep it as dewy as possible. I'm gonna do a little bit of a brow off camera. I'm just gonna be using my Patrick Ta tinted brow wax. I love putting on a brow. And the lower lash line. I'm going to start with the ColourPop E2 brush and the coral matte called Feelings. I'm gonna connect it to like this outer corner shape we have going on. Kind of blend that edge out so it doesn't look so harsh, you know? And then the ColourPop E16 brush with the dark brown. And we're gonna do just this little bit of an outer corner. For liner, we're going to be doing 3 different liners, which is a lot, I know. We're going to start with the KVD Vegan Beauty Cake Pencil for the waterline, upper waterline. I always end up stabbing myself. Alright, Brad ended up FaceTiming. So I just did my liners off camera, whatever. What I did, I put the KVD Vegan Beauty Cake Liner in my upper waterline, the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Wildcat, which is in my project pan, and it is like the sparkly green. I know, weird pairing with this look, but it looks fine. And my lower waterline, and I know you're thinking, Emily, your liner looks so effed up. And you're right, it does. But we are going to put on some lashes, and after the lashes, the liner will look fine because it'll help the lash blend in really nicely. With the liquid liner, I literally just put it like here in the very front of my eye. So I wore these lashes yesterday, so I'm gonna pick the glue off and then tell you what they are. These are the ColourPop and Bambi falsies in the style Oh Dear from the Bambi collection. They're really nice and natural looking and wispy and pretty, and I wore them yesterday and they were beautiful. So we're gonna wear them again today. So the glue's been put on. I'm gonna let them sit and dry. And I have a different-ish technique for applying lashes that has been, well, when I did it yesterday, worked so well. And it's something that Alexandra Anil mentioned in a recent video on like lashes that she did. And basically it's just to like look down into your mirror, and I don't know why, but it just makes such a difference. And I just realized I forgot to put on mascara and do all the other things that I was gonna do before I put on these lashes. So let's do that real quick. I'm literally gonna do it so quickly because I don't want the lash glue to dry too much. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Moonstone from the ColourPop and Kathleen Light So Jaded palette and use that to highlight my brow bone. Then I'm going to dip back into the Nabla Cutie palette and use the shade called I Got You for my inner corner highlight. It's a really like, almost like Super Shock formula, but it has like this orange to pink duochrome shift, and the pink shift on this shit, oh, so good. And then apparently I'm not going to curl my lashes because I don't have time. I can see the lash glue drying. I also have a fan pointed directly at me, so I'm just going to put on like the tiniest bit of mascara, just that Lancome Monsieur big mascara. And then, oh, this might be the perfect amount of dry. The lash. I swear to God, everything on this eye just always is better. Always. So, it's been like 18 minutes. The lashes are on. There are like 2 more little things I want to do to the eye. So I'm going to take my ColourPop E5 brush. It's like a little angled, basically a brow brush. And I'm going to dip into the shade Rhino from the Natasha Denona Safari palette, which is also in my Shop My Stash. And I'm going to try to do a little inner corner extension with it. And I think that looks fine. Very quick. And then the last thing that I'm going to do to the eyes before we move on to finishing up the face, another shadow from my project pan. I'm trying to use all the shadows that I have from them every day, which is like not going the best. I just realized there's one more thing I want to do to the eyes. I'm going to take the shade Summer from my ABH Norvina palette on the same brush that I used on my inner corner. And I've actually been doing this like every single day. And I think it is so cute. I don't know what it is, why I think it's so freaking adorable. But I've just been putting it like right here. Not bringing it in all the way, just right here in the inner corner on the lower lash line. I think it is adorable. How cute is that? Last thing, I promise. I'm gonna pick up the shade Dank from the Melt Cosmetics 420 in my project pan, and I'm going to just put that out here on the inner corner just a little bit to warm it up a little, just so that I can have used it today, gotten another use out of it. Okay, eyes officially done. No more touching them. We are going to go in with bronzer. Tower 28 Bronzino in the shade West Coast, using that brush that I used for the Glow Lust earlier that I said is my cream bronzer brush, and I just pat this in. I don't swipe because I find that if I swipe it starts to lift up everything underneath, and I'm putting this literally in the area where my acne is, where I went in and concealed them, so I really gotta be careful. But this bronzer is so nice. It gives such a nice seamless blend while giving you a really gorgeous glowy look. And I think it's because it is so glowy that it looks so nice and seamlessly blended. Blush today I'm gonna use 2. That's a bit extra, I know. First one is the NYX Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint Blush Mousse in the shade Nude. That was absolutely the longest name. And I'm just like taking some on the back of my hand because I don't like putting applicators directly on my face. Then my little blush brush here is the ColourPop F20, and I just pick some up and then go in with it. And I freaking love blush, so I'll go in with quite a bit of it. For the second blush that I said I was going to use, I'm going to use the same brush, and we're going to go in and just kind of use this as a blush topper. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Diamond Glow in the shade Duo Glow. It's just the little blush topper from this palette. It's in my project pan, and it just adds a little bit of glow into the blush. This, I'll take a little bit on the side of the brush and kind of go in and get my nose with it. For my highlight, I'm very excited for this. This is the Tint Beauty Dew Balm, and I'm just going to take a little itty bitty bit on my finger and pat it into my cheek. This I find I have to be pretty careful with while applying because it can lift what's underneath it. If I go in with too much, don't apply it as carefully. And this is only going to be going on my cheekbones. I don't want to put it all over my face, but it just gives this literally wet cheek look, and I'm obsessed with it. Milani Make It Last setting spray. There is like so little left of this. I don't know if I'll be able to get a full set with this. I did! Awesome! For lips, it's gonna be interesting. NYX lip liner in pumpkin. I'm gonna do this pretty lightly. ColourPop Lippy Sticks in the shade Jam Sesh. I'm going to take just a little bit of this on my finger, like a little bit. Use it as a little bit of a lip tint. And then to top that off, Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Cheeky. And this is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not already, I hope you will subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up before you leave, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye!